a dish that is very popular at our home, and it's mushroom curry. As you all know already, if you've been watching our channel, and if you're new to our channel, we saute onions, garlic, and all the other sautés with just little bit of water. We use water to deglaze the pan, and that's how we saute the onions. I have these onions really beautifully sauteed and ready to go for you, so we don't spend too much time on the sauteing. So how you would saute it, you would add perhaps a couple of teaspoons of water, and then add onions to it, and and saute for a bit. As the water evaporates and dries out, keep adding water by a couple of spoons at a time, just enough to deglaze the pan. So we have our onions already sauteed here and ready to go, and I've added garlic as well. It's smelling so fragrant and wonderful. And then I have tomatoes that I'm adding to it. So saute this, keep it covered, and saute for a couple of minutes. What I have here is already roasted few spices. The base for this wonderful mushroom curry is a few Indian spices that I'll introduce you to today. You already know cumin seeds. So I've lightly toasted the cumin seeds and got them ready. So I'm going to add that to the pan. As well as I have a few pieces of roasted or sauteed, I should say, fresh ginger. Ginger, as you all know, is a wonderful antioxidant and antibacterial as well. It's used not only in the kitchen, but also in many medicinal purposes all across India. And then I'm going to be using a couple of pods of green cardamom. These are easy to find in the American grocery store. And then I'm going to be using 6 to 8 cashews. They're lightly roasted. And about a half an inch of cinnamon as well. So I'm adding all of this to my sauteed onions, sauteed tomato, and then adding all these roasted spices to it. And once it all comes together and tomatoes are a bit softened, I add jalapenos. In our house, it's, most of the food that we like at home have to taste a little spicy. So this is homegrown jalapenos in my back garden. So I've gathered a few for today, and it adds and imparts a wonderful flavor. Mushrooms are just so versatile. As you saw today, they absorb any of the spices and flavors that we add. So I'm going to saute this just for a couple of minutes, and perhaps I can keep it covered for a couple of minutes, because now the tomatoes have a lot of water and they release water, so we don't have to worry about keeping the pan deglazed. So once a couple of minutes are up, we're going to get moving with regards to time here today. So saute all of this, bring it all together. It's smelling so fragrant here. So now I'm going to be adding those were whole spices. Now I'm going to be adding all the powdered spices. So I have cumin powder here, about 1 heaped tablespoon or so, and then about half a teaspoon of turmeric. As you all know, turmeric is antibacterial, and it's got the curcumin, the base ingredient of turmeric, has a lot of medicinal properties, and we almost consume it in many of our cooked dishes. And then I have 1 tablespoon of cilantro seeds, roasted and powdered. This is easily available at the American grocery store. You don't have to worry about it. And then red chili powder, or what we call Kashmiri chili powder, any cayenne pepper or anything to add a little bit of spice to the food, to the dish. And then I'm going to be adding this 1 teaspoon of garam masala way in the end, after everything is cooked. So now all the dry spices are also mixed up really well. What we'll do is we'll blend this to make a really nice spice paste. So this is the curry that will really the mushrooms will soak up this flavoring and this. So I'm going to just transfer it to a blender jar. All these sauteed tomatoes, sauteed onions, garlic, and all the dry spices that I just added. Dry powdered spices, I mean. So yeah, so add a little bit of water, as much as your blender needs, and then bring it all together. This is going to be a little noisy. So bring it all together to a nice smooth paste, and this will become our spice paste. But in the meantime, I'll start sauteing my mushrooms. So I'm going to add my mushrooms to the pan. And mushrooms, as you all know and have seen today, they have a lot of water content. So you may need to add just maybe 1 teaspoon of water to begin with. And then, you know, make sure that it's spread out nice and even in your pan. And then just keep it covered for just a couple of minutes. And it'll all come together really well, cook together and release a lot of water. It smells wonderful and it's so fragrant here. Now, once the mushrooms are sauteed, I would add all of this to the pan, just like so. And bring it all together really well. And make sure the mushrooms are cooked. Add the garam masala as well. So I have 1 tablespoon of garam masala. You can add curry powder from the American grocery store to substitute for garam masala. And now I'll be adding a little bit of salt, maybe a teaspoon, or it depends. If you are really trying to be salt-free, you can absolutely skip this. And then when it all comes to a boil nicely, we'll be adding a little bit of what we call dried fenugreek leaves. It's called kasuri methi, and it imparts an amazing flavor. We just rub it like this with the palms of our hand, and just to break it up a bit, and just add it to the dish, and it imparts an amazing flavor. This is of course optional. If you don't have it and you haven't been to an Indian grocery store of late, you can definitely skip it and try it another time. These are dried leaves, so they kind of last in your pantry for a long while, and you don't have to you know, preserve it, so to speak. It's almost like any of the dried spices that we spices that we use. So here I've added about a tablespoon of that. And in the very end, once everything comes together, I'll be adding half a cup of plant-based yogurt. That adds a little bit of tartness and creaminess and brings everything together. As you have seen, we've added cashews as well to make it a little creamy. And this will add a little bit of tart, and all the probiotics in the yogurt comes together. And this is homemade soy yogurt. I make this almost on a daily basis in our home. We consume a lot of yogurt. And so this is just made out of soy milk, which has 2 ingredients, just soybeans and water. And we have about half a cup of cilantro leaves chopped up. If you don't like cilantro, or you have a concern with the taste of cilantro, you can skip it, or you can add parsley too. So add a whole bunch of cilantro leaves, and your dish absolutely comes together. This is what is a mushroom curry, and let me just mix it up for you so you can see what it looks like. And it can be served with any kind of whole wheat tortilla, or corn tortillas as well, and as well as brown rice or any other whole grains. It looks amazing. It's come together really well, and enjoy. I think we'll be moving over to Q&A session right now. So this is mushroom curry for you. Make it often, enjoy, adjust the spices, taste the flavors. If you like it a little more spicy, add a little bit of spice in terms of cayenne pepper or Kashmiri red chili powder. If you like a little more salt, add it. but make this often and enjoy. So let's have a taste test for this yummy and so flavorful mushroom curry. I have a few tablespoons of cooked brown rice here at the bottom, and then I'm going to add some of this mushroom curry on top, and it's got a nice gravy and makes an excellent dish to go with any grains. And like we mentioned, all Food for Life instructors tell you, eat lots of greens. So sprinkle a whole bunch of fresh greens on this and enjoy. So let me do a taste test and let's see how it tastes. It's so flavorful. Oops, nice and spicy. I'm sure my husband would love it. So make this often and enjoy.